Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Bernie Sanders and the question of pays the who can pay the ultimate price in performing their duty. All right. So here we are in the middle of the 2020 U.S. presidential primary race. We're coming up near the end of it, and the reality is it is tempting. There are many days where I'm like, what was this all for? What you know? Uh, look at what happened. We had one of the most exciting uh, fields ever seen. People, men and women, people of both genders vying for the top job. Right? We had people of multiple orientations vying for the top job. We had people of color vying for the top job. Asian Americans, African Americans. We have Latino Americans, Latinx Americans, excuse me. Truly incredible, right? Just this array of options. And then the Democrat Party said, "Just kidding. It's Joe Biden." Isn't that wonderful that we just paraded a diverse group of people, brilliant rock stars, and we decided that a 77-year-old white man is the best the Democrat Party can produce? Most days you're just like, what was it all for, right? It was frustrating. It was incredibly frustrating to land where we are now. It was the most exciting run-up to the most disappointing, non-exciting, non-climactic ending you could possibly imagine. It was like, riding in an F1 in a Formula One race car, and then literally going around the block and coming back to your driveway, right? And you're just, what was this trip for? What was the purpose of all this? What was the purpose of all that? Right? To just disappoint and excite and to get people really excited and then disappoint them in the most shocking way possible. Right? It's just, it really, But the reality is there was a purpose. There absolutely was a purpose. One, it was to introduce, there were several purposes. Some of the, we'll get to the main one in just 1 minute. One of the purposes was to introduce Andrew Yang to the world. A brilliant thinker. And also just to tell America, you could have had the best. And you could have had the best, but you chose not the worst, but close. So that's one of the things. It's just to point the world toward one of the greatest thinkers of America, in American history. One of the greatest thinkers in American history, right? Revealing Andrew Yang, I think, was important. It was really important. Just to remind people that charismatic, noble geniuses come from from Asia. They can come from, I think, every day we look at our history and we're tempted to think that charismatic, noble geniuses are those two attributes that the first 43 presidents had. That's where that comes from. It's not. And Andrew Yang was like, charismatic, noble geniuses can come from anywhere. And he was an important reminder of that. But what I want to talk about today is critically important. I think it's one of the biggest takeaways from the U.S. 2020 presidential primary Democrat race. It will dramatically change American history forever, in my opinion. And that was Bernie's heart attack. October 4th, Bernie Sanders had a heart attack. October 4th, 2019, Bernie Sanders had a heart attack. October 15th, 2019, Bernie Sanders stood in front of millions of Americans and did a dramatic. He stood for hours in front of the American people and debated his opponents, right? And honestly, it is the most shocking event I have seen in the 50 years I've followed. Well, I guess I started following politics when I was 8 years old. So in the 42 years I have followed politics, the October 15th 11-day return after a heart attack of Bernie Sanders into the political discourse, continuing to run for the U.S. presidency, is the most shocking political event I've ever seen in 42 years of following politics. And here's why. It fundamentally asks a critical, shocking question of America, and it gives an answer. The question is, who can pay the ultimate price in performing their duties? Before Bernie Sanders, this was a simple question, right? There were three groups. Three, right? U.S. soldiers. No one questions it. Every U.S. soldier puts their life on the line the moment they enlist. They're saying, I am promising my life to this nation. And the reality is they can be commanded to go anywhere and to defend this nation. So the moment they enlist, they know that they really are no longer in control of their own destiny. That is a massive sacrifice, right? Police officers. It's long been known. It's an incredibly dangerous job. In fact, I was doing a little bit of research, and it looks like it might be more dangerous to be an American police officer. It looks to me, by the numbers, that it's more dangerous to be an American police officer today than it is to be an American soldier. Truly. And for 2019, if I had to pick the safer job, I would have picked U.S. soldier. Just my processing of the numbers there. Pretty incredible, actually. Next is firefighter. Firefighters are known to be willing to run into a building, some to save a human life, some to save a fur life. It's pretty incredible, right? So those three groups, Americans have there's never been any question. These three groups put their life. No one questions that these three groups can and should put their life on the line in the performance of their duties, right? Bernie Sanders. Holy cows. He said, nope, that list is too short. The answer is everyone. Everyone. All he was a candidate. That's it. He didn't even make it to the presidential job, right? He wasn't. He didn't still have his seat, to my knowledge. I don't think Bernie was. He was just running, right? So he wasn't nothing but a candidate, right? And he was like, I will put my life on the line in the performance of my duties. And boy, did he, right? He had a heart attack on October 4th, and he was standing in front of millions of Americans debating on October 15th. 11 days. That's incredible, right? That is absolutely incredible. That redefines commitment to duty. It also redefines what duties are worth your life, right? That is incredible, right? Bernie's like, whatever you do, I don't care what it is. You could do it to the point of service of paying the ultimate price. It was clear on October 15th that Bernie Sanders was like, I am all in. I am willing to pay the ultimate price to perform my duties. Now, who defined those duties? Bernie did. And that's the deepness, that's the incredibleness of what Bernie said. He said to every American, you can serve to the point of the ultimate price no matter what your duty is. You choose, right? We've had this cultural agreement that serving and paying the ultimate price in the performance of your duty is for soldiers, police officers, and firefighters. Bernie said, nope, it's for every single American. It questions who should be celebrated on Memorial Day. It questions how deeply we should be committed to what we are doing. And Bernie, that is one of the most American things I have ever seen. He is like, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you are doing. You can perform it at the same level as a U.S. soldier, a police officer, and a firefighter. That's incredible. That is truly a massive change that is coming out of 2020. Any politician that moves forward and ducks out and says, oh, I had a life event, I need to slink off and mourn, or I had a life event, I need to go rest, or oh, I had a life event, I need to step back from the performance of my duties. Everybody's going to remember Bernie. Bernie set the bar. They're going to go, hey, wait, you're supposed to be a leader, aren't you? Aren't you both supposed to serve to the point of the ultimate sacrifice? Bernie was willing. Why aren't you? It's a massive redefinition of who can pay the ultimate price, what duties are worth paying the ultimate price for, and get this, it is a blue victory on stones to the wall, hardcore, just baller awesomeness, right? Like, you know, the Reds generally, you know, they ride horses and do a million things that are like cowboys, you know what I mean? They drive cool cars that burn lots of oil, right? When you think of cool, you really don't think of Democrats. You kind of think they're the opposite. But Bernie, he set the standard. He's like, I am all in. I am willing. I will define what is worthy of paying the ultimate price for. I'm all in. I'm willing to pay the ultimate price in the performance of my duty. And he took that hugely honorific status, that stance, that honorific stance that used to be attached to soldiers, police officers, and firefighters, and attached it to every single American who wants to be taken seriously. Right? You step back for a life event now, not in the public view. Not in the public view. Right? Ain't nobody going to forget what Bernie did. Nobody. No, I will never forget it. It is the most baller, all-out, awesome, you know, I am in this completely. There is no limits to what I will sacrifice to in the performance of my duty. It's a huge change in American history. Absolutely massive, right? So when we look back on this absolutely horrific, saddening, terrible journey to November 2nd, 2020, and when we think about how we took people who were exciting and innovative and brilliant and hopeful and traded them for whatever Joe Biden is, we could say there was something that was put, that the Blues put up, that was interesting and powerful and exciting. And that is, who gets to pay the ultimate price in the performance of their duty? It's not soldiers, police officers, and firefighters anymore. It's every single American in the public view who wants to be taken seriously. Bernie set the bar, and that bar is incredibly high now. Incredibly high. That's my opinion. What do you think? What do you think Bernie's October 15th return really means? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.